Time now for the Nick Hart Show, our weekly chat with the Gibson Southern Titans head football coach. The Nick Hart Show on 89.1 The Bash is made possible by Matt Michael of AgriGold, Brett's Car Care, Chips, Sell My Teas, Cox Family Eye Care PC, Daylight Land Management, Du Bois County Garage Doors Incorporated, Duke Energy, Fort Branch Dairy Queen, Gerald and Trudy Bledsoe, Hobb Range Hood Company, Hobstadt Summerfest, Hydorn Construction, Hilliard Lions, Matt Monroe, in memory of Darwin and Eric Kalis, Johnson Commercial Mowing, Julia's School of Dance, Kathy Solman Photography, Kiesel Enterprises Incorporated, Kissel Farms Incorporated, Lewis Plumbing and Heating, Make Your Mark, Mayflower Gardens and Gifts, MyTech Systems, Pole Concrete Construction, Pro Rehab, Progressive Health Rehabilitation and Orthopedic Associates, Roberts Boring, Trenching and Excavating LLC, Sandy's Pizza, Scheller's Carriage Inn, Scotty's Lawn Equipment, South Gibson Grain, 10 Barge Seed, Trapping and Removal of Animal Pest, Titan Youth Football League, United Fidelity Bank, and by Ziliac Enterprises. Now, the Nick Hart Show on 89.1 The Bash.
Welcome to the Nick Hart Show. I am Bob Bowser, and joining me is head coach of the Gibson Southern Titans, Nick Hart. And coach, your Titans are now 4-2 overall and 3-1 in Pocket Athletic Conference play after a loss to Heritage Hills on Friday night, 49-14. So let's take a look at the team and individual stats in the loss for the Titans. Starting off here, some team stats. Number of plays, your ball club actually ran more plays than Heritage Hills did, 79-54 in the number of plays, which is astronomical considering the way that the score went. Total offense, your Titans amassed 405 yards of offense. I'm sitting there thinking 405 yards of offense and all we got is 14 points. That's kind of hard to look at, but Heritage Hills had 476 yards of offense. As far as rushing yards, your ball club had 198 rushing yards, while Heritage Hills had 476. Passing yards, your ball club had 207 yards of passing and 0 for Heritage Hills. So everything offensively that they did was on the ground. Fumbles lost, there was a turnover, had 1 for 1 on the turnovers on the fumbles, and 3 interceptions. So 4 turnovers on the night for the Titans. And again, you look back, Southport, 3 turnovers on that day. Friday night, 4 turnovers. You got to keep possession of the football.
And we didn't turn either of those teams over. So, you're -7 in the turnover battle and your 2 losses, and and then we haven't turned it over in any of our wins and have turned them over a lot. So, it's been a pretty telling statistic for our season so far.
Well, and then you look at your third down conversions. You were 9 for 15, 60%. I think that's a number that you'd be happy with. Problem is, I'm going to say that the 6 times we didn't convert third downs was in that period of time where things just were definitely not clicking for the Titans offense.
Yeah, third down conversions were good for the game, but that first half just really struggled to find that rhythm offensively. And then the second half, I thought we had a nice little rhythm offensively, but it doesn't matter if you don't finish the drive with points, and that's really what happened. They did a great job of taking away some explosive plays and making us drive the football, and we weren't able to do that.
Well, and then looking at penalties even, because, you start talking turnovers and penalties. Penalties, you only had 3 for 30 yards, and they only had 2 for 15, so it wasn't like there was a whole lot of flags. I mean, there was 1 flag that was 2 flags that actually, looking back at it now, where, Butler had the long run on the kickoff return. Mm-hmm. There was blocking in the back.
Yep, good call.
And then, of course, we had the situation down near the goal line where it would have still been 4th and goal from the 1, but instead, because of the unsportsmanlike conduct call, it became 4th and 16.
Yeah, that was big. And then, I think when you kind of look at this game, you talked about the turnovers, penalties were about even. I think, turnovers and explosive plays are always a big measuring stick in how games go. and they won both of those battles. They had a lot of big plays on the ground and didn't turn the ball over, and we did, and we kind of failed to hit those big explosive plays.
Well, now let's look at some of the individual stats here. Brady Allen on the night was 22 for 45, 207 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. And right there tells a lot about the story, because from Brady Allen, we're used to seeing 75% or better on those completion rates. And on this night, it was 48.9%.
Yeah, and not his best game probably, but there
were some drops in there.
We had a lot of drops. We had a lot of drops, and we had a lot of receivers getting jammed up where he was forced to throw the football away and stuff too. So, I think he'd tell you, he needs to play a little better, but we got to play better around him as well.
Well, and then looking at the rushing stats, Mitchell Spindler had a fantastic night on the ground, 22 carries for 129 yards and a touchdown. Brady Allen had 7 carries for 34 yards. Owen Bryant had 2 carries for 19 yards, and Ben Butler had 3 carries for 16 yards. On the receiving end of things, Adam May leading the way here. He had 6 receptions for 63 yards and a touchdown. Logan Murphy ended up with 6 receptions for 62 yards. Ben Butler had 6 receptions for 55 yards. Seth DeLong had 2 for 14, and Mitchell Spindler had 2 for 13 yards. So a lot of guys catching the football, but there were many times throughout. I mean, we were just mentioning the completion percentage, but there was a lot of times Brady did put it right on the numbers, and those guys, catches that we're used to seeing them make. Mm-hmm. It was almost like, was it the 13th? No, it was actually the 27th. It wasn't Friday the 13th, but boy, there were times it felt like it.
Yeah, we just got to execute a lot better. I think that's kind of the story of the night is, our execution just wasn't up to the level that we're used to it being at.
Well, right now, Coach, let's take a quick break here. When we come back, we'll get your overall thoughts from Game 6 concerning the offense, defense, and special teams. But right now, we need to thank the folks that make the Nick Hart Show possible on 89.1 The Bash.
The Nick Hart Show is brought to you by Pro Rehab, Pole Concrete Construction, MyTech Systems, Mayflower Gardens and Gifts, Make Your Mark, Lewis Plumbing and Heating, Kissel Farms Incorporated, Kiesel Enterprises Incorporated, Kathy Solman Photography, Julia's School of Dance, Johnson Commercial Mowing, and in memory of Darwin and Eric Kalis. You love sports. You're your team's ultimate fan. Why not turn that passion into the ultimate career? Enroll now in the brand new Sports Marketing and Media program at Wabash Valley College. Learn how to use digital video and other media to add to the fan experience, how to engage fans on social media, and how to create excitement by hosting events and promotions. Get off the sidelines and into the game. Find out more about the WVC Sports Marketing and Media program online at www.iecc.edu or by phone at 618-262-8641.
Thank you for listening to 89.1 The Bash and the Nick Hart Show. All right, Coach, before we get into breaking down things on offense, defense, and special teams, I purposefully made people wait to listen for the defensive stats. No, I didn't. I just forgot, but I've got them right here. Max Beatles leading the way on the defensive side. Max Beatles had 12 solo, 7 assists. Carter Green had 9 solo and 1 assist. Tanner Moskos, great ball game, had 5 solo, 3 assists, and a tackle for loss. Noah Bryant had 4 solo and an assist. So your 2 inside linebackers had a lot of tackles, and they should, based upon the offensive formation and the plays that were run on this night.
Yeah, and I thought those 2 guys played very well because we didn't do a great job of protecting them up front. And they were still able to make a lot of plays.
Well, I'm going to mix it up here just a little bit. We always go offense first because I was an offensive guy, you're an offensive guy. But since we just talked about defensive stats, let's talk about the defense first on this Friday night against Heritage Hills because, boy, in my opinion, which I'm way up top calling it, not at practice, it just looked like it was a tough night sledding all night long for that defense.
It was, and they have a very good offense, and they do a great job with their scheme and everything that they run, and they're great up front, and They have a couple of great backs, and so it's a tall task to stop them. So I certainly don't want to take anything away from them. They're going to make their own plays, is what I'm saying. We were beat so many times by alignment and assignment before the ball was even snapped that they didn't even have to do anything well. Now they did, and they took advantage of it, and that's what great teams like Heritage Hills will do. But it was really frustrating. Go back and watch the film and all the things that we missed. 2 of their touchdowns were not even lined up right. So we're beat before they even snapped the football. Mistakes, a lot of mistakes that we got to clean up on. And like I said, they're good. They're going to make their own plays. We don't need to help them pre-snap with not knowing our assignment, not knowing our alignment, those type of things. And that all kind of comes back on us. We got to do a better job making sure our kids are prepared and ready for Friday night.
Well, and as rough as it was for the defense on this night, let's go over now to the offensive side of the ball, where we're so used to seeing this well-oiled machine just continue on year after year, game after game. It just continues to roll. Yet on this Friday night, there were moments. Coming out, you had an opportunity to get back within one score. But then the turnover bug took place. There was a fumble within a span of 3 possessions, 2 by Gibson Southern, 1 for Heritage Hills. There was a interception and a fumble, which kind of shut the momentum down that the ball club had come up with. But, boy, just before that, the offense was perked up and going. To start the game, a little rough. I think back to halftime, no points on the board.
Yeah, it's 21-0.
And that doesn't happen to your offense getting shut out for an entire half.
No, and part of the problem, we had basically 3.5 possessions. We had the one right before half where we were trying to go that made it 4, but we basically only had 3 real possessions, and that's because we were going 3 and out, and then they controlled the ball in the game in the first half. There, we got to do a better job of moving the sticks and putting drives together. And again, we got to make the right reads. We got to catch the football. We got to do a bunch of those things. They're a good defense. They were giving up 5 points a game coming into the game. We knew it was going to be tough sledding. But we had a chance to make some plays and extend drives, and we weren't able to do it. And it's it's going to be tough when you play, and they always do a great job on defense. They always have, and so our execution has to go up considerably.
Well, and your running game obviously had some success with Mitchell Spindler running the football. But as well as I do, against a good defense like that, you can't run the ball every time.
Well, especially when you're down 21-0. It makes you a lot more one-dimensional, as you're trying to get back in the ball game and stuff. And so, that makes it even, harder to do. And we tried to, mix it in there in the second half. And especially when we got to 2 scores, it felt like there was enough time we could kind of get back on the ground and stuff. But, the whole team, we can't, against a good team like that, especially, you can't dig that hole. We first drive of the game on defense, we got a chance to get off the field on 3rd down. We're not able to make the play, and they go down and score. And then we've got a good drive going, and it's like 4th and 2, and they make a play, and we're not able to extend our drive. It's kind of that was big there. I think we didn't get off the field when we had a chance. They did when they got a chance. In that first quarter, both teams were kind of trying to put together drives. That was kind of a big momentum swing. I will say where we're not really pleased with the way we played or our execution. Similar to the Southport game, I am proud of our kids that it's 21-0 at half. We come out and we're still competing and swinging and everything else, and get it to 2 scores, have a chance to get it to 1, and we throw the pick, and then defense gets another stop and gives us a chance to go down and make it a 1-score game again. Our execution was not anything for a clinic tape or anything like that, but I do like the way that this team competes, and we'll keep fighting.
All right, so let's go to the third and final phase. Actually, the phase that probably was the best all night was the special teams. boy, I was real worried in pregame. I'm sitting there. I even threw you a text message saying, where's Jake Novotny? And, of course, knowing that you wouldn't have it on you to pay attention to what some radio guy's asking you on a text message, Rory Helsley did a fantastic job. And I tell you what, in pregame, if you didn't see them, he kicked some beautiful-looking field goals.
Yeah, we hope to have Jake back, really soon. Should be back here shortly. But Rory stepped up, did a great job. He did a great job with what we asked him to do on kickoffs. Made both of his extra points. I thought Murphin punted the ball fine. We did a good job in protection and coverage on with the punt team. And, our kickoff return team, we had a couple of really nice returns, one for a touchdown, and, should have been a touchdown. And we make a silly block in the back that wasn't needed. And that's kind of the story of the night. But we had another one. We get the ball out to the 40. I thought our kickoff return team did a nice job, too, of getting us some decent field position to start off the drive.
All right, well, Coach, we need to thank some of the supporters of the Nick Hart Show, and when we come back, we'll take a look around the Pocket Athletic Conference to wrap up Week 6 and get prepared for Week number 7. As you are listening to the Nick Hart Show on 89.1 The Bash.
The Nick Hart Show is brought to you by Hilliard Lyons and Matt Monroe, Hydorn Construction, Hobstadt Summerfest, Hobb Range Hood Company, Gerald and Trudy Bledsoe, Fort Branch Dairy Queen, Duke Energy, Du Bois County Garage Doors Incorporated, Daylight Land Management, Cox Family Eye Care PC, Chips, Sell My Tees, Brett's Car Care, and Matt Michael of Agrigold. Are you interested in learning how modern firearms are made and operated? Then the gunsmithing program at Wabash Valley College could be your silver bullet. Learn the basic knowledge and skills of gun repair and custom manufacturing. In our spacious lab, you'll build 3 modern firearms, a Model 1911 pistol, an AR-15 rifle, and a bolt-action rifle. Career opportunities include top manufacturers, law enforcement agencies, and more. The shooting industry is booming. Contact WVC to learn more at 618-262-8641 or visit www.iecc.edu/WVC.
Welcome back to the Nick Hart Show on 89.1 The Bash. I am Bob Bowser, and joining me is head coach of the Titans, Nick Hart. So, Coach, let's talk Pocket Athletic Conference here. First off, from this past Friday night, of course, at Heritage Hills at the Jungle, it was Heritage Hills 49, your Gibson Southern Titans 14. North Posey defeated Forest Park 24-11. That was a heck of a ball game right there. I think it was 14-11 at halftime, and North Posey goes on to get the victory 24-11. But that's a good ball game right there.
Yeah, and good to see North Posey kind of get back, rolling in the right direction, and Forest Park continues to impress, and they're having a really nice season over there.
Well, and South Spencer won 62-12 over Pike Central. So South Spencer putting some points up on the board.
Yeah, get their first win, and one that they probably really needed, and good to see them get on track.
And then the final one, as it was an all-conference affair on Friday, September 27th, Southridge defeated Tell City 41-13. Southridge still putting points up on the board and playing some defense.
Yep. We would keep talking about this, but they've just done a great job over there this year with everything they lost, and then their quarterback got hurt early in the year, and haven't missed a beat.
Well, now let's look at the rundown of the standings here. Heritage Hills at the top, 4-0 in conference play, 6-0 overall. Tied with Southridge, they're also 4-0 in the conference, 6-0 overall. Your Titans are 3-1 in the conference, 4-2 overall. Tell City is 2-2 in the conference, 4-2 overall. North Posey is 2-3 in conference play, 2-4 overall. Forest Park is 1-3, 3-3 overall. South Spencer is 1-4, 1-5 overall. And Pike Central is still 0-4 and 0-6 overall. So looking ahead to the first Friday in October, North Posey at Tell City. Oh boy, I think this is going to be a dandy of a ball. To me, that's the game of the week in the conference right now.
Yeah, that'll be a great game, and
till I get to the last one, of course.
That'll be a great game, and two really well coached teams getting together.
Well, of course, it's an all conference affair this week, and if I would have just looked ahead, prepared a little bit better, I would see coming up here pretty soon, we're going to talk another one. But South Spencer at Forest Park, I think that's going to be a fantastic ball game.
Yeah, good matchup there. And, South Spencer get some momentum last week. And we, like we said, Forest Park, having a wonderful season.
And then probably the biggest game of the week, Southridge at Heritage Hills.
Yeah, 2 undefeated teams, 2 great programs. I think that should be a I haven't. Southridge seems to follow us through the conference, so they've seen a lot of us. I haven't seen them because we don't get any scout tape on them since they kind of follow us through the conference. But they are obviously playing great football, and so is Heritage Hills.
And, of course, that just leaves one more game left. That will be your Titans at Pike Central, and we'll talk more about that here in the next segment. So right there it is. We got one more segment to go, which means it's time to get the listeners ready for Friday night as your team prepares to get back in the win column against Pike Central. But first, let's thank some of the underwriters of the Nick Hart Show on 89.1 The Bash.
The Nick Hart Show is brought to you by Progressive Health Rehabilitation and Orthopedic Associates, Roberts Boring, Trenching, and Excavating, LLC, Sandy's Pizza, Scheller's Carriage Inn, Scotty's Lawn Equipment, South Gibson Grain, 10 Barge Seed, Trapping and Removal of Animal Pest, Titan Youth Football League, United Fidelity Bank, and by Ziliak Enterprises.
Are you considering getting a degree from a 4-year university? Well, did you know that by spending your first 2 years at a community college, you can not only receive a high-quality education with a transferable degree, but you can also save thousands on tuition? Illinois Eastern Community Colleges offers an exceptional value of education for transfer students. You can give us a call at 866-529-4322 or visit our website online at iecc.edu.
Welcome back to the Nick Hart Show right here on 89.1 The Bash, or you may be using the free app to access the show on your cell phone. So, Coach, it's Week 7. Your Titans will be taking on Pike Central, and we will have all the action live on 89.1 The Bash with pregame at 6:15 p.m. Pike Central will enter this contest with a record of 0-6 overall and 0-4 in conference play. What do you expect to see from the Chargers on the offensive side of the football?
They're a spread team. Going to be very similar to what you see, out of our offense, doubles, trips, some tight end stuff. And I tell you what, they do a really good job scheme-wise and stuff. They run really good stuff. Obviously they're young and they haven't had a great amount of success, but they are very sound in what they do. They do a great job with their scheme and what they're running and stuff. So they like to throw the ball, and because they're young up front, and so they try and get the ball out of their hands quick and spread it around. So it kind of goes from you just played a team that threw 2 passes, and now you got to turn around. I think that's one of the cool things about our conference is you see so many different things. A team threw it twice against us last week, didn't need to throw it. But then you turn around this week and you're going to see a spread team that likes to throw it around. So, kind of change the challenge from your front 7 to your back 7 and how you're going to cover them.
Well, and one thing, too, you mentioned about the fact that Pike Central, being a young ball club, I even heard it up in the press box this past week, coming from other newspaper reporters throughout the area, as well as other radio reporters, that this ball club, they've only got like 22 guys, and about half of them are freshmen and sophomores.
Yeah, their numbers are a little bit down, and they're really young. So I give their kids a lot of credit because they come out and they play hard every Friday night, and have been mismatched at times, but come out and play really hard and play the game the right way.
Well, of course, as you mentioned, we're going to see a lot of throwing around the football. On their offensive side, what are they going to do to you defensively to try and slow down your running and passing game?
4-2-5 defense. Play a lot of quarters. They'll mix in a little bit of man. But again, I think they're really sound. Coach does a good job with them. They get lined up right, and try and play the best they can after that. But I think it's a big week for us to bounce back and get that execution level on both sides of the ball the way that we expect it to be.
Well, and you mentioned about the fact that they get lined up correctly and things of that nature. I caught another game this weekend on Saturday night, and the ball club that had come over to play Mount Carmel, man, there was just a lot of illegal motion, illegal formations. So half the battle sometimes, no matter what kind of experience you have, is getting guys lined up in the right place.
Yeah, we had that issue on Friday, so I can speak firsthand for how hard it can be.
I wasn't going there,
but no, it is, and I think that's a lot of credit to the Pike Central staff, because I think their kids play really hard. I think they do a good job with their schemes. Like we said, they don't have a lot of guys, and they're young right now, and that's why the results aren't going the way they want them to. But they do a really good job with those kids.
What about on the special teams? What are we seeing as far as a kicker, a punter, the return game?
Kicker's pretty solid on the kickoffs and stuff. I know, in the South Spencer game, they had gotten backed up on the extra point attempt, and he had plenty of leg on it. So the kicker's really solid, and same with the punter. So we gotta I think our special teams has been playing really well, and hope to continue that on Friday night.
All right. Well, Coach, anything else you would like to add this week for the show?
It was a great week for our young guys. JV beat Princeton. Our freshmen did not have a game because of a cancellation, but our middle school swept Southridge last week. So great week for the young guys.
All right. Well, Coach, that's all the time we have for tonight's show. So, Coach Hart, good luck on Friday night. We'll see you after the game on the post-game show, and best of luck to the players. We would like to thank all of you for joining us here on 89.1 The Bash for the Nick Hart Show, and be sure to catch us each week at 7 p.m. on Tuesday night for your look inside Gibson Southern Titans football. Before we sign off, though, we would like to thank all of the supporters of the Nick Hart Show on 89.1 The Bash.
The Nick Hart Show has been brought to you by Ziliak Enterprises, United Fidelity Bank, Titan Youth Football League, Trapping and Removal of Animal Pest, Tin Barge Seed, South Gibson Grain, Scotty's Lawn Equipment, Scheller's Carriage Inn, Sandy's Pizza, Roberts Boring, Trenching and Excavating LLC, Progressive Health Rehabilitation and Orthopedic Associates, by Pro Rehab, Pole Concrete Construction, MyTech Systems, Mayflower Gardens and Gifts, Make Your Mark, Lewis Plumbing and Heating, Kissel Farms Incorporated, Kiesel Enterprises Incorporated, Kathy Solman Photography, Julia's School of Dance, Johnson Commercial Mowing, in memory of Darwin and Eric Kalis, Hilliard Lions Matt Monroe, Hydorn Construction, Hobstadt Summerfest, Hobb Range Hood Company, Gerald and Trudy Bledsoe, Fort Branch Dairy Queen, Duke Energy, Du Bois County Garage Doors Incorporated, Daylight Land Management, Cox Family Eye Care PC, Chips Sell My Teas, Brett's Car Care, and Matt Michael of AgriGold. The Nick Hart Show is a special production of 89.1 The Bash and the Wabash Valley College Radio, TV, and Digital Media Department.